Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Urban Scope Podcast. Happy Halloween as well. So, I wanted to talk a little about the sports and what I've noticed in the NFL as of late. I'm not sure, hopefully, it's not a growing trend and it's just a blip in the radar. But as they say, remove his protective hedge, he will curse his maker. So, it's kind of a little bit of karma, I think, for the NFL. But I want to kind of talk about the decline of the quarterbacks. Last couple of years we've been having very good quarterback play. Everything's been smooth. There's been record-breaking performances. Every quarterback's throwing for 300 yards, and every game is competitive. But this year's not so much. Just a plethora of quarterbacks who usually are playing well haven't been playing well this year. So I want to kind of talk about that and kind of break down a couple of quarterbacks and my thoughts and my theories about why the quarterback play isn't going well. So I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. So first of all, I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers because you know, he kind of skipped. Like I said, I've talked about this on previous podcasts. He he was thinking he was bigger than a sport, which he's always kind of thought. He's kind of condescending and aloof, and kind of has a big ego, which most quarterbacks probably do have an ego, big ego. It's the most important position, they always tell us, in the NFL, and in most sports they say it's probably the most important position. But this year, he's 12 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. Usually he maintains at least a 4-to-1 ratio of touchdown to interceptions. So if he has 28 touchdowns, you know, usually he's around, well, probably not even around 7 interceptions, but he's probably less than that. He usually doesn't throw double interceptions in a year, and this year he's on pace to do double digit interceptions. But as far as Aaron Rodgers is concerned, there's a lot of excuses you can make for him with the off season, the OTAs that he missed, which is his fault. But just a lack of chemistry that it caused with their receivers, and Coach Sala was fired, which I covered in a podcast last week, I believe, and then just Devontae Adams just getting there. So the chemistry that he had with Garrett Wilson, it's been on and off, and it's been hit or miss. And he's mostly to blame for that, because, like I said, he wasn't there, and he acted like he had been with the team 10 plus years. He has a young team. Even their defense has diminished a little bit this year because they have to make up for what the offense is not doing. So that's kind of, I think, the reason for Aaron Rodgers' decline. And then Dak Prescott, like I said, they have a lack of running game. They really have Ezekiel Elliott, who's on his last legs, if he still has a leg left. No disrespect to him. He just, he took a lot of hits, and he had a lot of mileage. Pause. And just I think the play calling too. They went from Kellen Moore, who I think was an excellent play caller for him, to Mike McCarthy, who doesn't have a lot of creativity. And it's kind of seen with when he coached Aaron Rodgers toward the end, it just got basic, and everyone was able to figure out what they were doing. And then their defense is just banged up. Micah Parsons is out, and uh, DeMarcus Lawrence is out as well. So that kind of explains why Dak Prescott is down. And then Brock Purdy, I think, it's kind of been overblown just because he had a lot of talent around him. And now without that talent, you're starting to see some diminishing returns with him. With C-Mac being out, Debo was out with he had fluid in his lungs from pneumonia. Justin Jennings was out. Ayuk was out. Jordan Mason played like the first quarter last game, and now he was out. So their offensive pieces were out, and then Trent Williams had a contract dispute in the off seasons that kind of hindered their chemistry. So there's a lot of pieces out there, but for the most part, he had no one to throw to, and his running game was it was bare bones. So and then Patrick Mahomes, which is shocking. He's 8 touchdowns to 9 interceptions this year, which is unheard of for Patrick Mahomes since he got in the league, right? But like I said, he dealt with the same thing Brock Purdy did. Pacheco's missed most of the year. Smith-Schuster went out last game. Scott Moore is out. Hollywood Brown is out. Rashidi Brown is out. Rashid Rice, sorry, is out. And he's out to injury, but the NFL assumes going to say, hey, remember that hit and run incident? We're going to need some of that. We're going to need some of that time from your player. They're going to say that eventually. So everyone forgot about that part, but they eventually the CBA allows them to pretty much assess any amount of games that they want to. So eventually they're going to come after those games for him. And then they just got, D Hop, DeAndre Hopkins. So the chemistry, they're still trying to work that out as well. But their defense has been lights out. They have no excuse on the defensive end. The offense has kind of been slacking, which is just insane to think about with the Chiefs, right? Because for so many years, they were strictly an offensive team. And this year it's just straight defense. And they don't have that many pieces that are household names. You have a Chris Jones, and that's pretty much about it. They gave away their best cornerback, L'Jarius Sneed, last year to the Titans. So we thought they're going to regress. They kind of, they picked up like they never left. So, and then Matt Stafford as well. He's only 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. But as a Rams fan, hold your horses. It will get better. He got Cooper Kupp and Nakua just back last game, and they did work out there on the field. It's going to get better for the Rams. So I see that that's getting better. So I'm not pessimistic on that one as much as the other one. So, and then Aaron Donald just retired. It just feels weird as a Rams fan. For the last 10, 12 years, he's been there, and he's been a stable piece on that defense and on that team. And he was the unquestioned leader on that team. And for Aaron Donald to be gone, they're trying to fill out the defensive pieces and figure out the defense. So it's going to take some time as far as that goes. And I think they made some good draft picks. They drafted a lot of Florida State guys on the defensive line, which were dominant in college, and I think it'll pick up eventually. But my whole premise about the quarterbacks is that we placed a lot of, or the media placed a lot on the importance of the quarterback, but they failed to realize that the pieces around them were just as critical as the quarterback were. Mahomes was able to play good with marginal talent, but you see the decline that he has right now. His defense is pretty much dragging him along, and they're undefeated right now, which a lot of those games could have went either way. But nevertheless, you'll see that those pieces are important to the team. Like, you didn't want to play the quarterback, and then everyone has to gripe about their money except for pretty much the quarterbacks. There's a few quarterbacks that had to like hold out a little bit and had to fuss about their money, and they eventually got it. But for the most part, the quarterbacks don't have anything to worry about the pay. If they're even marginal, like a Daniel Jones, no disrespect to him, but he was given $40 million a year, and Saquon pretty much carried that team, but he got the credit for it. So when you think about this stuff, it's just, hopefully it's a trend to show the league, hey, we need to play and respect these other players as well, because they're making the quarterback look good. The days of a Tom Brady making marginal talent look good are pretty much over. These defenses are getting more sophisticated. Defenses are getting more exotic with their packages and blitzes, pause. And I think that you have to be more creative and you have to have more talent now. That's why Chiefs went out and get a DeAndre Hopkins. And this is why Matt Stafford needs a Cooper Kupp and a Puka Nacua, because you need these players. You can make, you can only get so far with this talent. And Belichick kind of saw that. And I think that contributed to the demise of Belichick. He thought he could put any cog in his system and it could work. It used to work like that, but these defenses are getting better. Players are getting more talented and getting more athletic, and you're not being able to skate by with just marginal talent anymore. You need more than that. You need to be able to get these athletic guys and be able to get these top picks. You can't just go in the third round and find a player anymore and just say, "Oh, we'll plug him in and he'll work in our system." It takes more than that, and the league is showing that. And so I'm kind of bummed out about the decline of these quarterbacks this year, but I'm kind of excited because it'll make the league more competitive and it'll make the league with more parity. That's why I think I like a WNBA so much, because they have so many great players within the team and the talent is spread out. There's not a game that I wouldn't want to watch in the WNBA. Now, the NBA or the NFL, some of those games I wouldn't want to watch, just because the talent isn't spread out and it's more of a everybody's rebuilding. In the WNBA, you might be rebuilding with 2 superstars, 2 Hall of Famers, and it's just that much talent going around. So it makes it a lot more exciting, which I'll cover. The women's college basketball is going to start up next week. I'm excited about that one. So tell me, what are your thoughts about the declining quarterbacks play, and why do you think the quarterback play is declining? And then we'll discuss that as well. And I'll keep an eye on this topic. But thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. Happy Halloween. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also, most importantly, watch the videos. And you have a good one, and I'll see you next time.